Hi, Mary from Maggie's Legacy. In the in the last 6 months, Maggie's Legacy has been relatively quiet, and we've been undergoing some significant changes. Some changes that have been not so good, but some exciting changes that are really good. First and foremost, Maggie's Legacy Association with Monty Hubush and Preserver.ai is no longer. We have decided to go our separate ways. However, in exciting news, Maggie's legacy now is recognised by the Australian Counselling Association as a program that is available for professional development points for counsellors and psychotherapists. In the coming weeks, you will see a number of workshops, online workshops on the Australian Counselling Association that counsellors and psychotherapists can access professional development points for. So I'm really excited to bring that to other therapists and other counsellors across Australia and to share the message of Maggie's Legacy. Those of you who don't know what Maggie's Legacy is all about, Maggie's Legacy originated as a domestic violence program. 11 years ago, when I entered into domestic violence counselling and having a lived experience in domestic violence, I quickly ascertained that although the therapeutic models were really good in relation to education and awareness, but by the time victims actually access a service, they're beyond needing education and awareness. They're usually at a crisis point. And as I found initially, time and time again, sharing with a victim the Duluth wheel of violence or the cycle of domestic violence was almost borderline insulting. And it's fair to say, many victims would say to me, Mary, this is great, but you're giving me a fancy label of something I already know. And usually victims don't come in to deciding to leave. The language of coercive control usually comes in and speaks and says, help me fix this. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. I still love my partner. I just want the drinking to stop. I just want to save my family. Like it's their burden to carry. How many times when we do a safety check assessment as therapists, do we actually ask the difficult question, have they been violent? Now, recall the response. The response is usually no, when they're sitting there with a black eye. Or the response is, yeah, they were violent, but it was my fault. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the language of coercive control. And a lot of models will tell you what coercive control is, but they don't tell you how it pans out in a pattern. As service providers or as victims, if you want to actually know a clear framework or a clear map that I wrote that mimicked the coercion of coercive control in a simple map, feel free to reach out to me at www.maggieslegacy.com.au. Maggie's Legacy does a number of workshops. We can tailor the workshop to your organisation. It is really important that as governments offer more and more funding to address the crisis that is occurring in this country, housing, relocation, all the rest of it, someone needs to look at changing the fuel or the inside of the core of domestic violence. There's so much more than just the Duluth wheel of violence and the domestic violence cycle that we can offer victims. had plenty of success stories in victims, both male and female, navigating their safety with a level of heightened confidence. I'm not going to say it's all foolproof, but they have a heightened level of confidence. And let me reassure you, as a service provider, victims of domestic violence have been navigating their safety well before they've entered the system. Because when they enter the system, a lot of the times they're judged, they're not believed, and they are meant to feel like the criminal, like I was. So when you share something like a framework like Maggie's Legacy, A, they're validated, they self-validate. B, they know, hey, I have been navigating this intuitively. Now I know how to navigate it consciously with great awareness. And let me tell you something, there's more than just the honeymoon, tension, explosion, and pursuit. A lot of victims are realizing that it doesn't end when you've left. Maggie's Legacy has introduced the concept of hurt, harm, hide. And that will give you victims and service providers a greater awareness in how to navigate safety. So if you are a DV service provider or a victim and you want to know more about Maggie's Legacy, please feel free to reach out at www.maggieslegacy.com.au. I'll be more than happy to talk to you. Stay safe and thank you for your time.